seem to be kind of far away from the entire rest of the world. And because of that, also since they're so both unique, kind of in their own little world. Let's first look.
To be kind of far away from the entire rest of the world and kind of in their own little world, since they are both so unique. Unique.
Let's look at some differences between the two. First of all,
let's first look at some difference. Let's first look at some difference between two.
Let's look at some differences between the two. First of
Let's
look at some differences between the two. First of all, New Zealand doesn't exist.
First of all, New Zealand doesn't exist.
Okay, that's just basically a meme at this point that started since so many world maps were leaving out New Zealand. In fact,
Okay, that's just basically a meme at this point that started since so many world maps were leaving out New Zealand.
in fact, there's even a large subreddit dedicated to them. But
in fact, there's even a large subreddit dedicated to them. Subreddit again. Large subreddit.
Don't believe the hype.
But don't believe the hype. The hype.
New Zealand, in fact, does exist.
New Zealand, in fact, does exist. See, there it is.
See, there it is. Australia.
See, there it is. Australia exists too, but it's about 29 times bigger.
Exists too, but it's about 29 times bigger than New Zealand.
Australia exists too, but it's about 29 times bigger than New Zealand. Australia exists too, but it's about 29 times bigger than New Zealand.
The sixth largest in the world, baby.
It's the sixth largest country in the world, baby. It's the sixth largest country in the world, baby.
Said it only has around 5 times as many people.
That said, it only has around 5 times as many people.
Why? Well, check this map out. Only
2% of population. Only 2% of the population of Australia lives in
2% of the population of Australia lives in the yellow area. Why does only 2% of the population of Australia? 2% of the population of Australia lives in the yellow area. And
2% of the population of Australia lives in the yellow area. Only 2% of the population of Australia lives in the yellow area. And
why does only 2% of the population of Australia live in that yellow area? That's because.
And why does only 2% of the population of Australia live in that yellow area? And why does only 2% of the population the population of Australia lives
because much of it is deserts or near deserts.
in deserts. That's because much of it is deserts or near deserts. Deserts. Desert. That's because much of it is deserts or near deserts.
Because much of it is deserts or because much of it is deserts or near deserts. 35% of the Australian continent doesn't get enough rain.
35% of Australian continent doesn't get enough rain. Continent.
35% of the Australian continent doesn't get enough rain.
35% of Australian continent doesn't get enough rain.
If you live here mostly because it's but what about up here? Well,
But what about up here? Well,
if you live here mostly because it's isolated from the rest of the population of Australia, only
few live here mostly just because it's so isolated from the rest of the population of Australia. Isolated.
one metropolitan area in New Zealand has a population over 1 million people.
Only one metropolitan area in New Zealand has a population over 1 million people. Only one metropolitan area in New Zealand has a population over 1 million people. Land.
Australia, meanwhile, has 5 metro areas with over 1 million people.
Australia, meanwhile, has 5 metro areas with over 1 million people.
2 biggest cities, Sydney and Melbourne, each have more people than the entire country of New Zealand.
Its 2 biggest cities, Sydney and Melbourne, each have more people than the entire country of New Zealand.
So much bigger, Australia has a wider range of different types of climates.
Being so much bigger, Australia has a wide range of different types of climates. New Zealand has mostly an oceanic climate.
It's mostly an oceanic climate, whereas Australia, just look at this map here. As I said earlier,
New Zealand has mostly an oceanic climate, whereas Australia is well. Just look at this. New
Zealand has mostly an oceanic climate, whereas Australia, just look at this map here. New Zealand has mostly an oceanic climate, whereas Australia, just look at this map. New Zealand has mostly an oceanic climate, whereas Australia, just look at this map here. As I said earlier, much of it is desert or semi-arid.
As I said earlier, much of it is deserts or semi-arid. Desert. Semi-arid.
Earlier, much of it is desert or semi-arid.
Semi-arid.
I should probably now bring up the sparsely populated area famously known as the Outback.
I should probably now bring up the sparsely populated area famously known as the Outback. The sparsely Outback.
I should probably now bring up the sparsely populated area famously known as the Outback. While the Outback is typically only a parts of Australia, it also includes the northern areas of the country that have a savanna climate.
While the Outback is typically only associated with the dry path, it also includes the northern area of Australia that have a savanna climate. Savanna-like climate. Associate with the dry part. It also includes the northern area of Australia. It also includes the northern areas of Australia that have a savanna climate.
The Outback is typically only associated with the dry parts of Australia. It also includes the northern areas of the country that have a savanna climate. Basically, the huge area in Australia where magical place, and politically the huge area in Australia where humans don't dare live.
Basically, the huge area in Australia where humans don't dare live. Basically, in Australia where humans don't dare live.
It's a magical place, and
it's a magical place.
Believe it or not, Australia has a little bit of rainforest and parts of a monsoon climate up here along the
Really? Rainforest apart have a moon's rainforest and parts have a monsoon climate. Monsoon climate. Really?
Believe it or not, Australia has a little bit of rainforest and parts of a monsoon climate up here along the eastern coast, southeastern coast, and island state of Tasmania, where most of the population lives, by the way. Australia has a mostly oceanic and humid subtropical climate, but don't forget the lovely Mediterranean climate along parts of the southern and southwestern coasts. That's also where the eastern coast, southeastern coast, and island state of Tasmania, where most of the population lives, by the way. Australia has a mostly oceanic and humid subtropical climate, but don't forget the lovely Mediterranean climate along parts of the southern and southwestern coasts. That's also where a lot of Australians live. Australia also has a more varied landscape, and this magnificent sandstone formation, Uluru, one of the most important indigenous sites in the country.
Australia has a more varied landscape, and this magnificent sandstone formation, Uluru, one of the most important indigenous sites in the country. Australia has a more varied landscape.
Also has a more varied landscape, and this magnificent sandstone formation, Uluru, one of the most important indigenous sites in the country. Also has a more varied landscape, and this magnificent sandstone formation, Uluru, one of the most important indigenous sites in the country. also has a more varied landscape, and this magnificent sandstone formation, Uluru, one of the most important indigenous sites in the country. New
Genocide.
also has a more varied landscape, and this magnificent sandstone formation, Uluru, one of the most important indigenous sites in the country. New
Engineers. 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 Engineers.
also has a more varied landscape.
Indigenous.
Indigenous. Indigenous. Indigenous. Indigenous. Indigenous. Indigenous. Indigenous.
New Zealand's mountains are way more impressive and tower over Australia's mountains.
Yeah. New Zealand's mountains are way more impressive and tower over Australian mountains. Tower over. Chỗ nào?
Tower.
Tower over.
Over.
Impressive. Trời ơi.
New Zealand's mountains are way more impressive and tower over Australia's mountains.
Mountain. Mountain.
Mountain.
Mountain. Mountain.
In fact, many people not from Australia forget that Australia actually has mountains. Meanwhile,
In fact, many people not from Australia forget that Australia actually has mountains. It's not mountain. It's mountain. Mountain. Mountains.
everyone seems to know about New Zealand's dramatic mountains, mainly due to the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit films.
Meanwhile, everyone seems to know about the New Zealand dramatic mountain due to the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit films. The producer of those films, Peter Jackson, is from New Zealand, and he almost single-handedly
Producer of those films, Peter Jackson, is from New Zealand, and he almost single-handedly put New Zealand on the map due to those films.
The producer of those films, Peter Jackson, is from New Zealand, and he almost single-handedly put New Zealand on the map due to those films.
Single-handedly. Single-handedly.
Single-handedly put New Zealand on the map due to those films. Single-handedly put New Zealand on the map due to those films. Remember how I said it's often not.
Remember how I said it's often not on maps?
Remember how I said it's often not on map? Sorry for bad joke there. Sorry for the bad joke here. Sorry for the bad joke there. Anyway, you can visit the actual child from the film today. Fun fact, my uncle lives in New Zealand where they work on the Lord of the Rings film. My uncles live in the New Zealand while they work on the Lord of the Rings films. What's what I'm talking about again? What's what I'm talking about again? Oh yes, mountains. Mountains. What was I was talking about? Okay. What thing? What was I talking about again? Oh yes, mountains. 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 New Zealand's highest peak is around 1,500 meters taller than Australia's highest peak, highest peak, peak. While mainland Australia is least. No one seems to care about you, Mozambique. Mozambique way over on. No one seems to care about you, Mozambique way over on Australian Heard Island. New Zealand sits under an infamous ring of fire, an area New Zealand sits on the infamous Ring of Fire, an area where lots of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions tend to occur. New Zealand sits on the infamous Rings of Fire, an area where lots of earthquakes and volcanic eruption. Volcanic volcanic eruption 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 tend to occur tend occur 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 tend to occur volcanoes. Australia doesn't have to worry about volcanoes. Volcanoes. Really? That's good. Australia doesn't have to worry about volcanoes. Also, since Australia sits on top of very stable tectonic plates with no active faults, residents there don't have to worry much about large earthquakes. Also, since Australia sits on top of very stable tectonic plates with no active faults, residents there don't have to worry much about the large earthquake. Tectonic plate. Tectonic. 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 New Zealand. New Zealand's the on the other hand, have to worry about a major earthquake at least once every 10 years. New Zealanders, on the other hand, related to this, both Australia and New Zealand occasionally have to worry about tsunamis. Really? Occasionally. 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 Australia gets hit by cyclones. Australia gets hit more by cyclones. Cyclones. Why does countries have flood and fire fires? Why does country have to worry about flood and wildfires? Australia is more often in the middle of them. Also, why burst fire are regular things in Australia? Also, why bushfire are the regular thing in Australia? It had one of the worst bushfire seasons in recorded history from September 2019 to March 2020. Record history. Bushfire. 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 It was say the least. It was catastrophic. It was catastrophic. 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 Brilliant. Catastrophic. Catastrophic. Beautiful Friday. It was catastrophic and a bit horrifying, to say the least. New Zealand is made of islands. Australia is made of a continent. Continent is associated continent. New Zealand. New Zealand is made up of islands. Islands. New Zealand is made up of islands. Made up of is made up of. Australia is mostly made up of a continent. Continent. Australia is mostly made up of a continent. Well, actually, some people actually call Australia is a really big island. Well, that is preposterous. 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 preposterous, 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 preposterous. Well, actually, some people actually call Australia is a big island. Well, that is preposterous. Well, a big island. That's preposterous. Preposterous. What? What a silly notion. What a silly notion. Amy. What a silly notion. What a silly notion. Australia is clearly a continent. Continent. Australia is clearly a continent. Australia clearly a continent. Australia clearly a continent. I mean, I agree with you, but that doesn't stop the millions of people out there calling it an island. I agree with you, but that doesn't stop the millions of people out there from calling it an island. I agree with you, but that doesn't stop the millions of people out there from calling it an island. Someone needs to stop them. Well, someone needs to stop them. However, I can make it clear looking at why some people think Australia is an island. Carry on, carry on. With this video, and you have it done by the time I'm done with this video. Can you have it done by the time I'm done with this video? Can you have it done by the time I have done with this video? I will see what I can do. I will see what I can do. Damn, that's awesome. I will see what I can do. Damn, that's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to see how that turns out. So, caught the farming. So anyway, like I said, Australia is also mainly a continent, the oldest, the farthest, and the brightest continually inhabited continent with the worst soil for farming. So Australia continent, 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 continent. Sao ta cách âm vậy má? Continent. À, continent, 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 continents, continents, continents. Oldest. Oh, 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 oh. Flat, 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 flat. Driest, driest, dry. Continually, 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 continually. Inhabit, 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 sing song, inhabit, inhabit, continent, 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 not continent, it's continent, continent, the world's soil for farming. Giá quý vị và các bạn rất cảm ơn. Cold, yeah. Redman, most fragment of African land mass under the sea. Redman, remnant, 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 remnant. And yes, New Zealand is another island belongs to the main remnant of the Pacific and of the Pacific. Cold, cold, Zealandia. Of those 600, however, only 16 inhabited by humans. 13 are inhabited by humans. Most of the population in New Zealand. Most of the population of New Zealand lives on Beijing, the island, the most of the population of New Zealand lives on the Big Two, the two larger main islands, the North Island of the Tekamaru and South Islands of the Waiponamu. Most of the population of New Zealand lives on the Big Two, the two larger main islands, is the North Island of Tekamaru and South Islands of the Waiponamu. Most of the population lives on the of Tekamaru, South Island of the Waiponamu. Oh yeah? Well, Australia has 3,802 others. Oh yeah? Well, Australia has 8,222 islands, so it's so much more than just a measly continent. Measly continent. Measly continent. Measly bình thường. Measly continent. Oh yeah? Well, Australia has 8,202 islands, so it's so much more than just a measly continent. Australia actually has 8,222 islands, so it's so much more than just a measly continent. Many species that New Zealand is lower in latitude, and higher in latitude myself from England is lower in latitude than Australia. Many seem to forget that New Zealand is lower in latitude, higher in latitude, but that's confusing. It's higher in latitude than most of Australia. Latitude, lower in latitude. Latitude. Many seem to forget that New Zealand is lower in latitude, higher in latitude. For the south, okay? That is why Australia is not higher than New Zealand. Really? Latitude-wise, Australia is more African than European, by the way. Okay. Australia borders the Indian Ocean. Border the Indian Ocean. Ocean. Border. Border that ocean. Ocean. New Zealand borders the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean. New Zealand borders the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean. Pacific East of New Zealand is just East of New Zealand is just wow. There. Quite a bit of ocean there. Quite a bit of ocean there. Quite a bit of ocean. Quite a and quite a bit of ocean west of Australia too, and quite a bit of wow, quite a bit of ocean there, and quite a bit of Australia too. Australia are often called Aussie and Australians are often called Aussie, and New Zealanders are often called Kiwis. But they come from the Kiwis and private first people. Finance first moved to the country that's also a national symbol. 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 Here is a kiwi. Here is a kiwi holding a kiwi. New Zealand is growing at a faster rate. New Zealand, not only women, but residents and taxes and residents. Australia has a high GDP per capita. Per capita. 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 Cat. Australia has a higher per capita. Per capita. Per capita. Per capita. Look at that sound. That sound there. Let's say about inequality is a big word there. Really? Let's say about inequality. Australia has a higher GDP per capita. Per capita. Also, New Zealand spends a higher percentage of its total GDP on education. Major industry, manufacturing, and commercial practices. Major industry, food and agriculture, industry, food and food processing. Major industry in New Zealand include agriculture, forestry, tourism, and food processing. New Zealand generally has faster internet speed. Residents of Australia are generally more religious. Residents of Australia are generally more religious. Christianity, even the of residents. may happen using intelligence. Technology highway technology highway of to where I mean that I was highway I feel that too. Though there is a north-south highway that links Adelaide and Darwin, though. Still, wow, that is just a 31-hour drive. 31 hours is not a little hour, do you know that? Well, you have to spend like 8 hours to drive and 2 hours to relax. There is a weird tradition in New Zealand of going places without shoes, apparently. Apparently. I think there's onto something there. New Zealand is that for Australia. Australia has developed longer fence to prevent the different population leaders from the country. But in fact, it's called the dingo fence. In fact, it's even called the dingo fence. Dingo is long due its long geographic isolation, most of Australia are mammals. 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 Amphibian. Am. Amphibian. Amphibian. Amphibians. Okay. Amphibians. Amphibians and reptiles. 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 And very uniquely native to it. New Zealand geographic isolation and reptiles are uniquely native to it. New Zealand has only animals with as hardly any natural background. Australia, on the other hand, has a more animal with most deadly venom. While sure is noted its flooding problem, Zumba and kangaroo, but many of its millions of solid dangerous animals or animals considered most deadly venom. Venom. Most deadly venom. Venom. Most deadly. Most deadly. Most deadly venom. 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 Sure. Sure. Phòng sure. That said, overhyped. That said, it may all be overhyped. May all be overhyped. In all, I read a convention. Australia has the worst electoral turnout rates. Australia has one of the highest electoral turnout rates in the world. Why? Gold, magnetic, speaking factory, gold, mandatory, man, mandatory, 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 mandatory. Not in New Zealand though. Not in New Zealand though. Got it. Oh, okay. Really? Why medical? Green light, green light, or straight up legalizing. Okay. Either decriminalize, decriminalize, or straight up legalize, legalizes. Uh, Probably. Australia, Australia has 6 states, 3 internal territories, and 6 external territories. Territory government. Really? The territory are more under this western state. Territory are more under the direct control of the federal government. Federal government. Federation is the federation. Okay. Okay. Hey, speaking of government, the federation. Federation. Yeah. But turn it down. 64,000 years. 64,000 years. Okay. Underwater lifestyle, Aboriginal, Aboriginal, Australia, or native. And over a period of time of tens of thousands of years, the climate of Australia drastically changed. Okay. The earliest human reached modern-day Tasmania around 3,300 years ago. Well, the earliest humans reached modern-day Tasmania around 30,000 years ago. Language. The first island 500 years ago, years ago, he learned the largest civilized human on Earth. It was understood with and canoes, 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 canoes. The Dutch of living from natural places, visiting the well in Australia. All kinds of people with the fashion over there. After him, however, the Dutch course, nothing of contribution and Australia. And cartographer, explorer and cartographer. Year. The first and professor decided never saw the two. However, did create and to spread the common so well took a simple Australian Day. And the other of students will do with convicts, criminals with very fun, very young. Even one of the military practice in the economy of the income, you know. How I they called over Meanwhile, New Zealand, in 18, the male upset. Australia tiếng tinh tế sự đó sẽ được trong những lúc này để chúng ta phải được phát triển mới okay well they don't as you hope there combine the country this is a common country which knowledge and usually cả okay không sự sự báo báo compared to Kiwis có nhiều what have high and if you are to be whoa because I think they first that's not better to Asia then without young population now culture population of today Robert has a similar median household income household income both have real time so both have the stars okay sparsely populated country in the world. Australia, in particular, organization has what in the world deeply. Family has what in the person healthcare. Not life expectancy. About the same. That is every world. What is the most deal with the breath and Hay nhỉ? Cái nói ism. In other words, romanticism. And those and horses and camels. Okay. My stage last year, goodness gracious. But the breed of them in recent years. Well, or rugby is ridiculously popular in Perth. And netball, cricket and netball. Oh, for possibly, yeah, really? That was another man at work. But shout out to music. Oh, way better. But lately, then exactly. Not even. Really? Special country. Oh, people know almost forgot. Yes, when you get done with your video, that is an item condiment. It's an item condiment. Did you know that accident does a one point film ship art and something 22. Art. But why should billionaires be the only one who invests in art? Grasshopper and the nice art. Now, the invent in art is a great question by this and that is comes not for the side, not not that, and good interest in some art. And this section is yours. Tree of the tree. Was there a really person not doing that? Want to do countryside. Then next again. And 3 hours. If you want to take advantage, if you want to take advantage, and it's also so the being now can prevent the beautiful the day and yes, Australia an island, right? Which look at the shower the so Australia or New Zealand, I expect to hear your audio and let me know. And now times almost not and now times. To my channel, starting with a month Thank you for watching. Okay. And thank you for the watching. Which one is cheaper to live in 2025? Which one is cheaper to live in 2025? I will listen to this video too. I will learn English until the 10 p.m. Okay, keep going, okay. Keep going, keep going. Train both for appearance. Keep up with the unlock. Group video. This video is New Zealand passport. I want to become a New Zealand passport too. I think New Zealand is much more sweet for me. I think that, I don't know if that's good or not. Mình cũng muốn nhớ rồi giờ. If you did make a video, look at why folks call Australia an island. So be sure to check it out and you may as well subscribe to Stage of the World. More people are living in New Zealand than ever before. More people are living in New Zealand than ever before. The people of New Zealand are leaving the country. The major reason is Australia. Australia is and spin legs. That's the video of the camera. I'm going to get activity of country. Import country. Import and Australia. And put the about 2,000 years. So I thought with children, Australia is better. That was the statement to government and let me understand Australia is better. I tell you whether Australia is better. The comment was music open. The first is their incomes. Never first good country with the national average. Other Australia is the and 2047 away. Other Australia is away. In New Zealand, just 1,650 away. I'm confident that the furniture number restricted by 26%. Most difficult and often schools are able to include side of things. Further, there are other components of personal income. First, further tax. As you can see, the Australia and New Zealand have different income table. To take the amount of income in New Zealand and make equivalent to Australia dollar, it is what you get. $2 a year. Oh my god. Okay, and I see you have to take income of 17,400 bill a year. Oh wait, in Australia, it's different from Thailand. Okay, it is $79. Everything the difference from that in the LC. So on an income on there, it will be salary. And after the income, 11.8%. The only growth and one is Australia. Common Indian government is like this. Down below. It has content by the network of New Zealand and Australia. Welcome to a good area of the US and New Zealand. I look at the food. Global is bright. Other people try of the difference in prices. Like thousands of typical differences, but I This is how people do here. Have such rhythm and breath. Music. This is what some Italian happens in Australia. The same but not that you limited cheaper here. Jumps it together to more the ditch. This night, such cheaper that we are then 30% from the billion star. Of the village. With the city of Chicago, Ceylon, also known as Chicago in Australia, available pork chops. Pork chops typically appear 50% cheaper in Australia, and the meat 40% cheaper over there. Like you said, salmon is cheaper over here by 17%. Food is the price is $280. It costs $280 from this limited range of items. Look at the food and $8. All the and 10% and paying 1% cheaper than the Australia. Home for the percent now have cent each. But the coming to that yeah, what the Australia. Without food, Australia is being low price. Moving from Australia, it needs cut 40%. For the free, is not 5%, and the public 1 cent of rock. Look at the truth. Two by 8%. Joke is nothing cheaper in Australia. Relative the 8% cheaper New Zealand. Everything fine and nothing. Australia, has brought previous section. In Australia, islands during $7.2. New Zealand right in Australia. Only the full price grocery first in every point available of the country is holding. According to the Commercial, the median house price in Sydney is just under 1.2 million Australian dollars, with an trade of 800 to 900 a month. Another country is a million and 1 million Kiwi dollars. In other words, it should have had a civilized median price. I think for the most rich in both countries. This for Australia median house price city and all the places with the highest median prices. Yesterday, the calculated and children the process. However, about 6.89%. Mortgage repayments and percent more than Auckland. With all the because coming in Auckland. There are only as a general statement or action or justification of Sydney of rent. The union and center Sydney of the East had by the away. Housing average $105 a week. $23 a week. Because of the study prices higher than Australia. Some of the average not than Australia, but I can Sydney unless you are local. Unless visa study application Sydney, which is different from $40. In Auckland, or equivalent to $4.55 in Australia, equivalent to 30% expensive. Then the developer limited video station. Come the check and per journey. Sydney comes out on top. Owning a car. I think right away. Charlie central Sự vàng thở lại Australia xuống xếp so hard for me to understand all the things. Và khó nhỉ. New Zealand. Delicious. Large of the shore. Large of the shore. Keep going. What did we practice it? Really? Okay. Who really has the power of the refusal of their priority, skill in family with faster, silver, high salary? No, do I really need a skill assessment? You sound well. How to apply structure and point. Okay. Regional area, visa. Permanent resident directly. Labor agreement. Also, if you are looking to say the system muscle, I That is the persistent nerves. You sound well. Huh? Okay. Resistant nerves. Resistant nerves. Resistant nerves. If I'm ready to say resistant nerves, resistant nerves. You are planning to study resistant nerves. If you apply early. Get in Australia. And make it drop faster. And even and I was very content. Human has changed. And we can help introduce what it is. Somebody know what that is. Green orange. And also point system. Navigate. How would they help you with it? Like the ability you can bring many for years. The only thing that improvement solution has to realize that the higher the goal that the people to whether the what territory. Since quite recognizing maintain as objective by your achievement and your value. Integrity point is one of the creative origins of the limit capability of competition. the superior superior. But the program but it category. Also, it's more important in development to call the fundamental of occupation. Even if the word in the can become uneasy to connect them more. Actually, which would be the public in occupation, government and territory demonstrate that body nominator occupation. That could develop study by yes, they do. Unlike physical factors, right? Financial involvement is photography of Australia. That is not that bad. That you can have to here to be exposed to permanent residency. And also the important to the working sector and popular that are like more likely to serve good state of water. Rather of telephone they have very not especially so focus on the occupation such as the just stress is but one type of education for the education this one is just and our global I cultural and political parties taken from you. They are particular of the children's at the state level. Not to have a job like that. Just like 4 weeks before doing the job of 2 years, the first one will be recognized because of less confidence living home. More confidence to active. That means one is the 3 years. Another is construction. I think construction is a part of the physical for guiding my kind of floor. For example, their politics, charges, political and third argument. Bear in mind, this is the top or assessment. This is the representation of method. Now, the possibility is also right. Make sure you guys will take a good job and get more and get more business. Then you will get to the place of job you have. So it's something that also from time to time. Sometimes it's hard to get from the Christmas. Shipping to the teacher is getting this coach. Somebody can get to make himself listening to that. Not a good person like me who can fit until a child teacher. What you can think for the but I feel so since we heard the Edison summarizing, the rule of thumb is whether or not you are providing value to the stage, and then you do it this way to put in the proportion and have a really good set. Put in nominative, nominal function, and have a good salary. If you have to do, you can do that with the job, inquiry with the function, and you have this. You require this, but if you have this, and then you jump on what is fun. That's why I make my promotion. If everyone the same condition, that's what the control for the future, people have done AI, statute, especially when you're on the way to go through. And it's way to get the possibility of the one system, that one is medical, and then take one and just do the most and get that approved. That's just go to the study IT. The writing of the equation and approach reliability. If you're not in the proposition, but if you're lucky that you can put the deposit of home there, that should be permanent resident. Permanent, 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 permanent resident. Helps. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. Helps. If you have one about the next year, and I will see you in the next year. Okay. I don't know. Should I go into study occupational therapy, speech therapy, to get how skill statement, skills statement, skills statement. This is cross occupation. 60 plus occupation. 60 plus occupation. 60 plus occupation. Funny. Ai, trời ơi, khó lắm, khó lắm. 60 plus area. Plus 50. That's way to the maybe the answer. Before you appear, because you got your auto page first. I had 18 point as a painter. Do you haven't received any invitation, mention of next, of next. Oh, Johnny Kong. Johnny Kong. June 2024, 2026. A lot of people on 55 points and why some other people that on this education. Help, help, what should I do? You put it down with you after what you want. What is the most professional? Without further ado, let's get started. Welcome. My name is dedicated TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you master. The world is moving around 10,000 the big one, and the practical bench for the observation the loop winners, Connecticut is from Thailand, all 5 points. They consider at the same point in the state. And the highly encouraged people woke up here in secondary school. If you are for 55 points, another one. Because they students before, but thank God we got night while boys I was definitely the help my education. We met in 100. All of them are what it means like you can be invited a few things. Number one is the occupational needs. Number two is the open and report on thing of the legal methods if the occupation actually has been held, you will hold the code is too low. You are to be reason. How is the open and points on the 19 and just invite people that you are AOI keep going. Invitation. Now, I took a look at the picture. They just so, let's see the operation of this research in Canada, learn something like and about writer. Realistically, but but one from the perspective is not yet not sure. Sector. It's không được bàn chứa được conclusion of the subject the quality program. The quality program the right to book or one from a six-direct entry program. How will college with the work on the project to see whether or not in that computers and love the third measure value the most what is it then? But you have to put it from something in the company and then let the clear then what you not sure see where you are safe and what you just what I mean. I want to the best of them. So here to the video. And that video is education ground. So that you get enough you can analyze the content and then you will be able to book what's the lecture without you will be able to update you a person how you might want to contact what you do. I hope this helps and hope you understand some next episode. And we'll see you in the next episode. I will see you in the next episode. Hoặc cái mục anh sẽ được invite là cũng sẽ không sao làm cho hiện lại already. Hi dear. I will end my live stream right here. Today I studied English for 2 hours. I hope it's really good in the future. It will be better in the future. Goodbye.